The second coming, a return to power. On January 20th, 2025, Donald J. Trump was sworn in as the 47th President of the United States. This marked his return to power after a tumultuous 4 years out of office. The inauguration, held indoors due to inclement weather, was a spectacle attended by a mix of political figures, tech giants like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, and even a smattering of celebrities. It was a tangible representation of the strange bedfellows Trump's political career had cultivated. This inauguration, however, carried a different weight than his first. It followed years of legal battles, 2 impeachments, and even assassination attempts. Trump, a survivor in his own right, used this platform to send a clear message: he was back, and he was ready to settle scores. Trump's first actions were swift and decisive, a clear indication of the tone his second term would take. He issued a wave of pardons, granting clemency to over 1,500 individuals involved in the January 6th Capitol riot. This included not just those who trespassed but also individuals who had assaulted police officers, a move that sparked immediate controversy. Further solidifying his return to power, Trump commuted the sentences of 14 individuals linked to the Oath Keepers and Proud Boys, groups heavily involved in the January 6th attack. These actions sent a clear message to his base. Their loyalty was rewarded, and their actions in his eyes were justified. Executive shockwaves, first days in office. Trump's initial days in office were a flurry of executive orders, each one designed to undo the policies of his predecessor and reshape the American landscape according to his vision. He targeted immigration, ramping up border security and designating drug cartels as terrorist organizations. Birthright citizenship, a cornerstone of American identity, was thrust into uncertainty with an executive order limiting its scope. Regulations, particularly those concerning environmental protection and business, were rolled back, a move celebrated by industry leaders, but met with alarm by environmental activists. A task force dedicated to shrinking the size of the federal government was established, fulfilling a campaign promise to reduce bureaucracy. Trump didn't stop there. He systematically dismantled the legacy of the Biden administration, rescinding initiatives on climate change and diversity, equity, and inclusion. These actions were not merely about policy, they were about sending a message. The era of progressive ideals was over. Trump was back, and with him, a return to what he considered traditional American values. The speed and breadth of these executive orders sent shockwaves through Washington and beyond. Critics decried them as authoritarian overreaches, pointing to the disregard for established legislative processes. Supporters, however, cheered them as decisive actions by a leader determined to fulfill his promises. America First Again Inaugural Address and Policy. Trump's inaugural address, a fiery 29-minute proclamation, left no doubt about his intentions. He declared a golden age of America under his leadership, painting a picture of a nation restored to its former glory. The previous administration was relegated to a footnote in history, blamed for the perceived chaos and destruction that Trump vowed to rectify. His rhetoric echoed the familiar themes of his previous campaign: America First, economic nationalism, and a return to traditional values. He promised to bring back jobs, restore law and order, and stand up for the forgotten men and women of America. His words resonated with his base, who saw in him a savior, a defender of their values, in a world they felt was leaving them behind. Trump's policy focus remained largely unchanged from his first term. Immigration remained at the forefront, with the declaration of a national emergency at the southern border and the deployment of troops. He railed against the perceived threat of illegal immigration, stoking fears and anxieties to justify his hardline policies. Freedom of speech, a recurring theme throughout his political career, took center stage once more. An executive order aimed at stopping censorship and bringing back free speech was met with both praise and concern. While supporters applauded the move as a defense of First Amendment rights, critics worried about the potential for increased hate speech and misinformation. Section 4. Global Disengagement, Who and International Relations.